Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today we're going over some news that I know for myself I definitely did not see coming, which is that Donald Trump officially nominated Matt Gaetz, the Florida Congressman, to be the next Attorney General of the United States. There's a lot to break down here, as well as the procedural aspect of whether or not Matt Gaetz will actually get to be Attorney General, and I'm going to try to do my best to break it down for you all in this video today. So the way it works for Attorney General is the President-elect has to appoint someone he would like to serve as Attorney General, and then there needs to be a vote in the Senate for whether the Senate will approve whether the Attorney General will get to be the Attorney General. They have to get over a majority of the votes. And this is where it's going to be very, very interesting, is going into the new session of Congress, assuming Pennsylvania continues to go the way it's looking, Republicans will have a 53-seat Senate majority. Democrats will have 47. And for Matt Gaetz, just procedurally, we expect Democrats, every single one of them, all 47, will vote against Gaetz, which means, given that Vice President J.D. Vance would break the tie, there would be about a 3-seat gap for Matt Gaetz for Republican senators not to vote for him to get that seat. I'll get more into this later on in the video, but things do get very, very interesting from there. But as the news for today, Trump officially nominated Matt Gaetz, the Florida Congressman from CD1, to be his nominee for Attorney General. And Gaetz' nomination was certainly met with a lot of surprise from House lawmakers, where Gaetz has also been the subject of an ethics committee investigation. In this article on Fox News, it says that President-elect Trump announced on Wednesday his pick for Attorney General would be Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz. And if confirmed, Gaetz will head up the Justice Department after Trump is sworn in for a second term in January. Trump first announced his nomination in a post on Truth Social, saying that Gaetz, quote, has distinguished himself in Congress through his focus on achieving desperately needed reform at the Department of Justice. Gaetz confirmed the nomination by Trump on the social media site X, formerly Twitter, saying it will be an honor to serve as President Trump's Attorney General. In his statement on Truth Social, Trump praised Gaetz for his experience on the House Judiciary Committee, where he said Gaetz played a key role in defeating the Russia hoax and exposing what Trump described as, quote, alarming and systemic government corruption and weaponization. He is a champion for the Constitution and the rule of law, President-elect Trump added. As for some background on Gaetz, Gaetz graduated from William and Mary College of Law and passed the Florida bar exam in 2008. So he is technically a lawyer, so that does usually fill one of the requirements for Attorney General, is he does have a law degree. And news of Gaetz' appointment was certainly met with a lot of shock from House lawmakers, as the article says. Gaetz, a longtime Trump ally, so from that standpoint, it's not really surprising, but he has been under investigation by the House Ethics Committee, which subpoenaed him as recently as September for an ongoing investigation into an alleged sexual misconduct with a minor. Gaetz, in response, told the panel he would, quote, no longer voluntarily participate in their probe. I explicitly reserve all my rights pursuant to the House rules and the Constitution, Gaetz wrote in a letter which was shared on social media. The article does mention it is unlikely that this investigation would block Gaetz from getting the confirmation of the Republican majority Senate in the approval process, but it would likely make things a little bit more difficult. Representative Michael Guest from Mississippi, who's also one of the chairs of the House Ethics Committee, told Fox News that the investigation would cease as soon as Gaetz leaves the House, which it has been reported that Gaetz has resigned due to wanting to get the special election for that seat done as soon as possible to give an extra Republican seat in the House, and Gaetz' intention to serve as Attorney General. He said, quote, once a member is no longer a member of Congress, then ethics has no jurisdiction, the congressman said. Guest added, quote, look, I have great trust in President Trump and those people that he will surround himself with and put in his cabinet. So I'm sure that Trump and his transition team have taken into consideration all the good and bad surrounding every one of the candidates that they're looking at appointing. So I do not question President Trump's appointment at all. Still, Guest said that the House Ethics Committee would not ramp up at the pace of their investigation in light of Gaetz' nomination. No, we're not going to do anything to expedite this, he told Fox News. Also, some early contenders for the Attorney General post included some sitting U.S. senators, former Justice Department personnel, and one top White House advisor from Trump's first term. I believe Matt Whitaker was the person that was last part's referring to. He said, quote, he's going to want someone who knows or who he knows, likes, and trusts, former Acting Attorney General Matt Whitaker said about the role last week. He's going to want someone who was there from the beginning and Matt Gaetz in Congress certainly has been that in the last few years. So this is definitely surprising news and shocking news, and it has not all gone well for Matt Gaetz, where he is facing some GOP Senate opposition in response to this. First of all, the representatives and senators, when they found out about this, were very surprised, and even some saying they would not vote for him. I'll get more to that in 1 second. One Republican senator who said anonymously, said he will never get confirmed. Quote, one Senate Republican source said, ain't gonna happen about the prospect of his confirmation. It'll be but Gaetz also said a thing saying it'll be an honor to serve as President Trump's Attorney General. Republican Senator of Texas, John Cornyn, said, I think we have to consider any nominee by the president seriously, but we also have a constitutional responsibility. Assuming Cornyn is different than the two other senators, that could be 3 senators right there that if Cornyn voted against Gaetz, that would be 3 right then and there, which would mean Vice President Vance would have to break the tie if only those 3 did that. And I'm waiting to see if there's anything else. The Gaetz thing I already covered, but also some Republican senators were not as anonymous and explicit with this. Susan Collins of Maine says he's under investigation by the House Committee on Ethics and acknowledged obviously the president has the right to nominate whoever he wishes, but this is why the background checks that are done by the FBI and the advice and consent process in the Senate and public hearings are so important. Senator Langford of Oklahoma said he will go through the nomination process just like everyone else. Senator Britt of Alabama said, I got nothing for you on that when asked about Trump's choice in Vance. We also have a few more quotes. We have Senator Mike Rounds of South Dakota saying, I think what we can tell you right now is we'll always allow the president to have the benefit of the doubt, but we still have to do our role in terms of due diligence, said Senator Rounds. So this is certainly a very interesting situation that has caught many Republicans by surprise and puts the new majority leader, Senator John Thune of South Dakota, in a very interesting position because he won the majority leader role for the United States Senate just yesterday. But he also put out a quote that said, we must act quickly and decisively to get the president's cabinet and other nominees in place as soon as possible to start delivering on the mandate we've been sent to execute. And all options are on the table to make that happen, including recess appointments. So recess appointments, I'm not 100% clear on the way that it works, but I believe it's meant to be a way of fast-tracking the nomination process and getting Gaetz as Attorney General without having to go through Senate approval. I'm not sure if it will come to that, but if it does, that would be a way that Gaetz could also become Attorney General. This is a very fascinating situation, and I mean, it already has a few senators, at least 5 or 6 in the article, at very least questioning Gaetz as Attorney General, so it'll be very interesting to see how this plays out. That's all speculation for a later day. I think we could probably expect if anyone's going to vote no, Susan Collins from Maine is very likely to do so of all the Republican senators. Also, Republican Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, given her and President Trump's relationship in the past, with the two not being too friendly with each other, we could expect she would vote no on Gaetz as well. That would be 2 senators right there. And then the conversation really begins at 51 senators, and if anyone else votes against Gaetz. But now this also opens up a few other questions about the Gaetz appointment. First is what happens with his congressional seat. In an interview on Fox News, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson said he wanted to fill the seat before the new session of Congress begins. So that is why Matt Gaetz resigned immediately in Florida District 1 to speed up the process to nominate a Republican to fill this seat. Gaetz' district, he just won it in 2024, 66% to 34%. And in the Cook PVI index from the 2023 Congress, which is the most recent PVI there is until the 2025 Congress takes office, and I'm sure we'll have a new one that we can look at for data. The Florida 1st District, which Matt Gaetz represents, is Republican plus 19, according to Cook PVI. So this is certainly a safe Republican district, and that even in a special election, barring a massive underperformance, we could expect this district will stay red. So this district's really not too much in danger of flipping in a special election, especially a Ron DeSantis-appointed state-endorsed Republican candidate will probably win this seat. But this does now open up some questions for some other potential races in Florida. For instance, the 2026 Florida governor election, which for a while it was rumored that Matt Gaetz may potentially be running to succeed term limited Governor Ron DeSantis. This is now pretty much taken him out of the running for this seat. It's also taken Gaetz out of the running, obviously, for Marco Rubio's Senate seat, which he is foregoing to be the next Secretary of State. Gaetz was potentially being considered for this, this news puts that to bed as well. So this is very interesting news, a very interesting development to see how this goes. I think it's more likely than not this will be the most contested nomination of all of President Trump has made in terms of whether the Senate will confirm Gaetz or not. So this will be a very, very fascinating one to watch going forward. That is all the news I have for you today on Matt Gaetz' nomination for Attorney General. And all I have to say now is thank you so much for watching. Please remember to give this video a like, click subscribe, and share with your friends and family. And I hope to see you in a future video. That will do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to give it a like. And if you really liked it, please remember to click the subscribe button. And make sure you turn post notifications on so you always get notified when I post a new video. That way you never miss one. Also, please remember to share this video with your friends and family if you really like the video. And remember to stay tuned because I'll be posting at least one video every single day leading up until Election Day. So I'd really appreciate it if you keep coming back and watching those videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in a future video.